it's an understandable position that some people might take, especially in that first year. But at the same time, someone who can actually talk about saying, I want to specialize in data, or I want to specialize in financial crime, or I've always had an interest in that, and to be able to talk about it with a level of enthusiasm and excitement, that's brilliant. And I think so. Have a think about something that you believe in and that you want and a desire that you might have for progressing your career. It shows that you've thought about it, going forward, rather than just rocking up and hoping for the best.
For sure, for sure. At least have a little bit of an inkling of what you want to do, even on a short horizon, but you walk in with a plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, as a reminder, if you have a question for Kyle, please feel free to put it in the chat on either Instagram or YouTube. The widescreen format on YouTube maybe makes the responses a little bit easier to see, but you're welcome to keep on including your questions. Kyle, I might take this next one. Mandar asks, I want to go into data science field, and I have started with pandas, NumPy, Matplot, and other libraries, and also I have made a few projects which does analysis in EDA. So how far I am from completing the DS? Okay, Mandar. So we've talked about this before a little bit about how um, there is no timeline to learning data science. It's a profession that you dedicate yourself to, right? Just like a doctor doesn't really have a finish line for when they stop learning. They just always keep going, right? So I think you've mentioned a lot of really good tools, but you need to know how to use them, right? So what I'm not seeing is more about the methodology and the approach of data science, right? So when somebody like Kyle asks you about, if you're trying to join his staff and he asks you about your view on data science, you wouldn't want to start talking about NumPy and Pandas and Python. You'd want to talk about the methodology and your approach and your, for lack of a better word, philosophy about data science and the process that you're going to follow so that you can demonstrate business impact to somebody like Kyle, right? So that's what I would encourage you to think about. Do you feel strong enough about the methodology and the approach of data science? Because everything else you mentioned are just tools, but they're not helpful if you don't know how to put them all together and at what point and how to test and ultimately how to talk and how to present your results to someone like Kyle and his team. So I'd like for you to kind of think about that in terms of um, putting all that together for a profession, not just a job, not just a finish line of, well, I'm done studying data science. Now I'm ready for I'm ready for a big job, right? So I hope that helps, Mandar. If not, feel free to go ahead and put a follow up in the chat. Okay, so here's another one, Kyle. I think either you or I could take this one. But hey, Dennis, I have a question. How much data engineering or a data engineer is needed on the topic of banks? Would you like that one, Kyle?
Well, I would definitely say you need data engineers quite heavily. As I mentioned, 20, 30 years ago, banking was old school, pieces of paper flying around, and now that data flies around rapidly around a bank in large volumes, and as we start to see the use of various different software tools, etc., that can manipulate data and use it. Data is key, and the quality of that data is paramount in organizations like banks. If you think about the importance of banks and the role that they play in the global economy, if that data fails at any point in time, then we have a significant shock to the financial services sector and to the world. So again, if you go onto LinkedIn, Google, look up roles, etc., you will find these roles aplenty because they're in such high demand.
For sure. Yeah, and I guess I'd love to add to your question from a little bit more of a technical answer, Deadlord.